AI is going to continue to increase, and we're going to have to figure out how to use it effectively, how to monitor it effectively, and make sure that students use it effectively.
You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
I'm Dr. Darrell Floyd. I'm Superintendent of Schools in Enid, Oklahoma, and we have about 17 campuses and 8,000 students. We're about an hour and a half northwest of Oklahoma City.
Hi, I'm TJ Vari. I'm Assistant Superintendent of District Operations and our secondary schools in the Appoquinimink School District in Delaware. We're located in the northern part of Delaware. We're the third largest public school system with about 13,000 students. And the one tidbit is we're the fastest growing school system. I say in the region, maybe on planet Earth, we grow at about 300 to 500 students a year. It's a great problem to have.
All right. I am Karen Cheser, the superintendent of the Durango, Colorado School District in beautiful Southwest Colorado. We have about 4,600 brick and mortar students, an additional 1,100 online across 12 different schools, plus a shared school and our own online school.
How is your school district approaching ChatGPT?
Well, I would say we're trying to approach that issue much like we did at the beginning of the pandemic. We're just kind of muddling our way through it right now. I don't think anyone knows the exact answer to that AI issue right now, because it's only going to grow from here. And separate and apart from my duties as superintendent of schools, I also teach adjunct for several universities in their graduate programs for principal preparation, superintendent certification programs, and doctoral programs. And that ChatGPT thing is obviously a real issue and something that professors are going to have to be aware of, administrators are going to have to be aware of, especially English teachers and research-oriented topics that nowadays students can just push a button and say, give me a 800-word essay on X topic, and it spits it out. It's a scary issue that we are faced with now, and I wish I could sit here and tell you the answer right now, but I don't have the answer, and I don't know that the superintendents or campus administrators or professors have that answer either. But we're going to have to figure it out because it's already here, and AI is going to continue to increase. And we're going to have to figure out how to use it effectively, how to monitor it effectively, and make sure that students use it effectively.
Right now, we're approaching ChatGPT with a very open mind, and I love it. I talked to my curriculum director about this. I had a meeting with one of our tech coordinators about it already. We need to keep an open mind. It's such a powerful tool. It has the potential, and I don't want to over glamorize it, but it has the potential to revolutionize the way that we teach kids and the way that we think about assignments and the way that we think about learning. And so we want to approach it with an open mind. And we have a first followers theory in our district, meaning we want to get our people who are going to be the first users. I don't know if you've read Crossing the Chasm and some of the other interesting works on how you start a movement, but we want our super users to get a hold of it first and, try to break it, for lack of a better description, so that we can learn how it can be used best and then bring everybody else into the fold, right? We're not going to just roll it out a whole scale and say, here's a thing that you should be using. Then that's not our approach. Let's use it with some people who know the most about it. And then let's train people. Let's offer some professional development. So our people are already thinking about how to offer PD for teachers on the uses of ChatGPT in the classroom.
So we're looking at it positively, trying to see it as a tool to help students who might not typically have been able to get information organized or write. We're not afraid of it. We'll be able to see students' voice if we're concerned about cheating and have other ways to determine that.
Are there any positive use cases that you've heard from students around ChatGPT?
Well, I do think it is helping students, much like I heard someone put it in the same category as Wikipedia. And I do think that both of those sources have helped students to some extent because it is immediately at their fingertips, provided them with information they wouldn't know about and they can immediately learn more about. But so positively, I would say yes, that is a positive because they can access information much more rapidly and learn because of that. But the other side of that coin is that it oftentimes then can morph into plagiarism, and that's obviously not what we want.
I don't have a case for you with students, but I hope you'll let me alter the question just a little bit. I have positive use cases of teachers using ChatGPT to help create engaging lesson plans, right? Not only lesson plans, but questions. You can ask ChatGPT to create you an SAT style question for algebra. And then if you don't like the question, you could say, well, we would like that to be multiple choice. I had an AP teacher in my office and we were using it to find out if the ChatGPT could create AP style questions, both open-ended and so on and so forth for, I think it was his US history class. And they were good questions. And so why reinvent the wheel when ChatGPT can do it for you? And I think that power placed in the hands of teachers is going to revolutionize, the workload.
Yeah, actually, we have a student in our high school. He's actually on the student school board who has created a tool using same AI that is helping teachers identify when students are using ChatGPT. So it's like it provided this student has now this opportunity to kind of, as a 10th grader, to really demonstrate for teachers that he's been able to teach himself and use AI for good.
With regards to ChatGPT, are you changing any of your techniques for grading students and the types of assignments being used in the classroom in your school district?
Well, I hate to be brutally honest here, but again, I don't think we have the answer to that. And as I mentioned that I do some adjunct professor work and for aspiring administrators, and I tell them all the time, sometimes people think that when we get in these administrative jobs that we just automatically have all the answers. And it's the people that try to bluff their way through that and act like they have all the answers that end up shooting themselves in the foot. So I would have to honestly tell you, we don't have it figured out yet. And so if you get it figured out, let me know and we'll try to implement it. But I think teachers need to, A, be aware of it, B, try to utilize the resources that they have at their fingertips to instruct students on the appropriate use of those technologies and lump it into that whole digital citizenship aspect of what we're trying to teach students in order to do it effectively. And like I said, we're all just kind of muddling our way through it. So when somebody comes up with a good answer, I'd sure like them to send that to me.
So I'm super passionate about grading in education, and we were on a track to change grading practices anyway. So I'm not going to tell you that ChatGPT was a sole reason why we started to make the shift. And I think everybody should be making this shift. I think it should be part of equity plans, and I think it should be part of the way we think about restorative justice in schools, because grading is one of our biggest Achilles heels. But if we move towards a grading system that is much more like a portfolio where students aren't being penalized with late work, they're not being penalized by the 100-point scale or by averaging, those things are really archaic. And we need to speed up the way we think about grading. But our portfolio process, and we've been on this track for a few years, will make it so things like ChatGPT are going to still be pretty hard to use for cheating. I mean, again, we were doing that before ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is going to be a really easy way for kids to cheat on very traditional assignments. So if we're not already thinking about how to change things to be more about thinking and collaboration and revisions and redoing things, we're going to be held captive by things like ChatGPT, and this is just scratching the surface.
Yes. So teachers are doing more like exam writing and essay writing in class. So they're starting that. They didn't really do that before. So there's quite a bit more of that. They already run it through Turnitin, but they're running things through, like, for example, the student who created this new tool, I can't remember the name of that, how he's named it, but they're also running it through his tool, which is able to identify, especially when you look at a pattern of students' work, that it may not be the same author. So those are a couple of things that we definitely have already started doing.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.